tried our chances at seeing if our colleague, Yasmin Basugian, has an answer to that. She's joining us now from the east front of the Capitol. That is the other side from where this crowd is gathered. Yasmin, any insights?
I mean, we've been here all day. It is just unbelievable to see in person, Nicole and Brian, what I've been witnessing all day. I mean, there were thousands of people on the steps of this Capitol. I'm going to step out of the way so Miguel can get a clearer picture as well of what we're seeing up there. So President Trump's message was actually coming out of those speakers, as you see at the top of the steps there above the inauguration balcony. Just a couple of minutes ago, essentially saying to go home. Yes, this election was stolen. This is what the president was saying in his messages. I'm sure many of you heard. But then he said to the crowd to go home, to disperse. We can't play into their hands. This is part of the president's message. I mean, these bleachers here, and guys, we haven't even been talking about this. There's going to be an inauguration here in 2 weeks or so. All of this setup, all of these bleachers here, all of this setup on the inauguration balcony, that's for President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration in just 2 weeks' time. Instead, over the last couple of hours, they have been filled to the brim with rioters and protesters trying to breach the Capitol. I was actually just speaking to someone, a man who came up from Florida. He doesn't know how many days he's actually going to be here. He said himself he is part of a militia group in the state of Florida. He breached the Capitol building. He got inside of the Capitol building. He said he made it into a hallway of the Capitol building, and then they unleashed pepper spray on him, and then he subsequently had to retreat. But he said to me personally that this is not the end. They're not going to take this anymore. And he went so far as to say, I mean, Brian, you used the word depressing right before you came to me, the depressing situation that we're seeing here in Washington, D.C. at Capitol Hill. Think about how depressing this is. He said the next time we're going to come back with weapons. This man who's part of a militia group in Florida, and that's not the first time that I'm hearing this. I've been out here all day. One of the questions I've been asking folks throughout the day is, did it have to go this far? Someone has been injured. Someone has been shot. The halls of the Capitol have been breached. Is this what you wanted to see happen? And so many folks have said to me over and over again out here, this is what needs to happen because they feel as if the election has been stolen. They're using words that the president himself has used over and over again, like communism and socialism, and feeling like the country is playing into the hands of socialism. It is an unbelievable sight to see. A couple of hours ago when Katie was on air, Katie Tur was on air, she talked about the fact that what are other countries going to see when they're looking at what's happening in this country. I've covered a lot of those situations in other countries, specifically in the Middle East. And I think countries like Egypt, for instance, and Iran are looking at this, folks in those countries, and saying, this is the kind of thing that we deal with in our country pretty often. And yet this is the United States of America, and we're hearing it here. And then you just heard that sound. We've been hearing that all day. I'm not quite sure what that is, guys, that sound that you've heard repeatedly. It might be a pepper ball spray. We don't know what it is because we have been seeing smoke billowing from the top left corner of the inauguration balcony over to your left. We're seeing some lights, a spotlight from where that noise was coming. But again, it seems at this point, yes, people are yelling at the camera. That's what they do out here. That's to be expected. So apologies in advance if anybody says anything of any profane nature. But at this point, it seems like people are beginning to dissipate. It's pretty cold out here. There is a 6 p.m., I believe, curfew in place that the mayor had put out a couple of hours ago. That's kind of causing people to disperse a little bit more. But man, oh man, guys, it has been quite a day so far to see this site, knowing what it looks like normally. And then again, there's that smoke from the middle of that inauguration balcony coming out. We don't know what it is. We're seeing flash grenades go off. I believe that's what that sound is flash grenades going off on the inauguration balcony. That is where the president-elect, when inaugurated on January 20th, will be standing, taking the oath of office. But today, 2 weeks before that moment, we're seeing flash grenades going off over and over again as Capitol Police are trying to disperse crowds there. It is an unbelievable sight. It seems like people are beginning to retreat from that area. And think about what is happening inside as you guys have been talking to Garrett Haake. Again, there we go.
Yasmin, I want to
Another
say two
flash
things,
grenade,
and then I'm going to turn this back over to you. One, if you need to move to a safer location, just scamper away, and we will assume that is what you have done. Two, if your cameraman can go back to the area where the sounds, the flashbangs seem to be coming from, and the smoke, could we stay on that?
Yeah, Miguel. So Miguel, just make sure we're focusing on where the sound is coming from, the flash grenades. So I think, guys, it's coming from the center area of the inauguration balcony where we've been seeing that flash grenade. I don't know how many you guys counted that just took place in the last couple of minutes or so, maybe 3 or 4 flashbangs that we heard in the last couple of minutes. They seem to have ceased for the moment, and folks seem to be retreating at this point pretty quickly, to say the least. And there you go again. Miguel, focus in on the smoke that's coming out of that center area.
Yasmin, do we know if they're being put off by the protesters or the police?
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to make... Sorry, there it was again. That's tear gas. So that's tear gas. Yeah, that's tear gas, guys. Let's move this way. Let's move away, and we're going to be in the... We're in the...
Yasmin, you and Miguel get somewhere safe for us. I want to pull Brian Williams back into this. Brian.
And I, in turn, want to bring Vaughn Hilliard in. Vaughn is among our correspondents out there as well. We appear to be watching in the center of the screen there the archway doorway that has a couple of chandeliers visible in the distance. We've seen humans up there kind of breaching the entrance. We can see one exiting now over what was once glass windows. Vaughn, where are you in relation to Yasmin? And are we correct that these are chemical disbursements and not any kind of fireworks, which were also used today?
Yeah. Brian, I think that you may be looking at the straight-on shot that our photographer Paul Rigney is shooting on here. We're just a little bit a ways from where that photographer's podium is at, looking straight on towards that inauguration platform there.